right, Shalom Israel. Oh, I'm a little loud on this thing. Dang. Got me up back here, bro. Turn it down a little bit. All right, Shalom Israel. Dallas UPK under Commander General Yohana. Started out of 1 West 125th Street. And today we're going to have a lecture about how our oppressor and how the government divided black families. You know, they call it the division of family services. You know what I'm saying? It's a division for a reason. That's because the division, guess what, was us, our families being divided. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go over all of that. We'll get started in just 2 seconds here. Alright. We'll get started. We have a couple of articles, got some research going on that we have done here in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Fatherless homes in the black community is an epidemic that has been untreated for decades, right? The white man is so interested in making this cure for that COVID, right? And any other pandemic that hits, you understand? But he's interested in fixing black, Hispanic, and Native Indian families, all right? And matter of fact, hold on, we gotta cut the light out. I'm tripping. Yeah, cut the light, hit the light, maestro. All right, so we can see the board. All right, there we go. All right, so we're gonna look back at black families. This is back. We're gonna go back just in the 1800s, mid 1800s, up to date. And we're gonna look at some of the families. You know, you see our families together. You see the father, you see the mother, and you see. All right, here we go. Got a brother with his 2 wives. You know, they say he dead wrong for that. Especially Konaya, all the wives he got. You understand? There go brother, look at him sitting back, old player. This 2 years. You understand? Look at him, he got 3. You understand? He got 3 of them. We're gonna keep going. Some of these pictures, like I said, is back in the 1800s and some early 1900s. Look at him, father sitting there, mother, and the children, everybody together. You see the families together. All right. Yeah, look at them, all together. All right. And then this happened. Yeah, see the mother flag. That's symbolic. That means something right there. You understand? That flag is now. It's more than just a flag. Okay, it's not just the flag. It's what the flag represents. It's the people. Right? They split up our families. Here it is. And this is 1852, I believe. I can't remember what year it is. 52, 92. I forgot the year. But they are celebrating Independence Day, and if you look at the child's face, the baby is what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? what am I doing here? You know, and the mother's trying her best, you understand, to turn around and make this baby celebrate that evil day. Okay, and then let's bring it up a little bit. You know, still the same thing going on. You know. Just the mother with the children. No fathers in these pictures nowhere. I even went to Dollar Tree, right? Y'all know I like Dollar Tree. Okay? That's my store. I turned around and went in Dollar Tree. You know, they pushing that in the store. They had some picture frames. You know, we was hanging the frames on the walls for the pictures that we had here in the school. They had pictures with just the mother and just the children on the picture frames when it came to the black one. No lie. I posted this on Facebook. Then the picture right next to it with the white family had the man, the woman, and the children on the picture frame. The same store, same aisle, same show. You understand? The black picture, the white picture, the black one, it was this right here. Just a woman with her children by herself. Then with the white one, it had everybody, big old smiles on their face, the man, the woman, all children all together. All right. And then that's another picture. I ain't gonna go too far with those. I'm gonna get straight into this. This is a quote from Ronald Reagan, right? It says, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I am here to help." This is what Ronald Reagan said himself, right? And now, you think about something. This was one of the most horrible presidents, you understand, that we had. And when I'm saying we, I'm just saying here because we know the presidents, they ain't working for us. You understand? They in no way, shape, form, or fashion are they even in there to do anything for our people. You know what I'm saying? So they turned around and, a lot of brothers ended up locked up for a long time behind this man and his administration, right? And this is what he said himself about he was the government. You understand? He was the government, and then he said those horrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And let's find out how much the government actually helped black people. I'm gonna start with an article. This one right here. This is from New York University. And this is how racism has shaped welfare policy in America since 1935. All right. And it says a recent UNICEF report found that the U.S. ranked 34 on the list of 35 developed countries surveyed on the well-being of children. According to the Pew Institute, children under the age of 18 are the most impoverished population of American and African American children are almost 4 times as likely as white children to be in poverty. These findings are alarming, not least because they come on the 20th anniversary of President Clinton's promise to end welfare as we know it. When he did that, you know what he did? He turned around and made more. He made black families, poor people, more poor than what they already were. You understand? By turning around and giving them, what was it, a 5-year limit to hurry up and get a job, hurry up and get back to work. You know what I mean? What they call it, the welfare to work program. And then if you didn't get a job, you were just out of assistance. You know what I mean? And there's so many of our people that got cut off under the system. All right? And then it says, it is true that the data show the numbers of families receiving cash assistance fell from 12.3 million in 1996 to current levels of 4.1 million as reported by the New York Times. But it is also true that child poverty rates for black children remain stubbornly high in the U.S. And you see that? Now, the welfare to work, you would think it went down because people went back to work. It just went down because they just simply cut you off. You understand? That's why it went down. It went down because of that. And of course, what are they doing? They're saying, hey, our program, it worked. You know what I mean? It worked. Okay, we do it. All right? And then it says, my research indicates that this didn't happen by chance. In a recent book, I examined social welfare policy developments in the U.S. over a 50-year period from the New Deal to 1996 reforms. Findings reveal that U.S. welfare policies have, from their very inception, been discriminatory. All right? And this part is blemished by a history of discrimination. It was the 1935 Social Security Act introduced by the Franklin Roosevelt administration. They first committed. One second. I don't know what's going on with the mic. Okay, let me get back to where I was. The first committed. Let me start over. It was the 1935 Social Security Act introduced by the Franklin Roosevelt administration that first committed the U.S. to the safety net philosophy. From the beginning, the policy had 2 tiers that intended to protect families from loss of income. On one level were the contributory social insurance programs that provided income support to the surviving dependents of workers in the event of their death or incapacitation, and Social Security for retired older Americans. The second tier was made up of means-tested public assistance programs that included what was originally called the Aid to Dependent Children program, and was subsequently renamed to Aid to Families with Dependent Children in 1962. Public welfare amendments to the SSA under the Kennedy administration. The optimistic vision of the architect of the ADC program was that it would die a natural birth with the rising quality of life in the country as a whole, resulting in more families becoming eligible for the work-related social insurance programs. All right. But the scenario was problematic for black Americans because of pervasive racial discrimination in employment. In the decades of the 1930s and 1940s, during these decades, blacks typically worked in menial jobs. And menial jobs is like where we work at now, mostly. What is that? Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying? Burger King. Walmart. You understand? They give us the work that they don't want to do, and they sit in the supervisor's positions. You know what I mean? Turn around and watching all the slaves make sure they still working. You know, here you are working for peanuts. You know what I mean? And while they sitting on in the office in the air at a desk, you know what I mean, making all the money they can. Here you are working for peanuts, and they're about to get fired every 2 seconds on your shift. You know what I mean? They don't want you there. All right. It says, not tied to the formal workforce. That's what when it's saying the menial jobs was not tied to the formal workforce. The formal workforce is their positions, the ones, like I said, the supervisors, manager positions, that's what they hold. It said they were paid in cash off the books, making them ineligible for social insurance program that called for contributions through payroll taxes from both employers and employees. Nor did blacks fare much better under ADC during these years. So what they did was, now you know the white man is that what the Bible speaks of. What they would call a loophole. You understand? He made them, right? He turned around and makes a loophole, finds a way around whatever he does, right, to keep us down, so that we could not benefit from the funds. He turned around and just paid us a little bit of cash under the table, didn't have to report nothing. Didn't have to say that we was working for them or any of that, right? And they still do that kind of stuff today. Then it says the ADC was an extension of the state-operated mother's pension program, where white widows were the primary beneficiaries. The criteria for eligibility and need were state-determined, so blacks continued to be barred from full participation because the country operated under the separate but equal doctrine adopted by the Supreme Court in 1896. Now you know that's a lie. You understand? We separate, but we equal. In no way, shape, form, or fashion is anything equal between us and them. You know what I mean? Then it says Jim Crow laws and the separate but equal doctrine resulted in the creation of a two-track service delivery system in both law and custom, one for whites and one for blacks that were anything but equal, right? This is how they get down. You understand? They ain't turning around and making nothing equal with us. If it was equal, why would it be separate? Why would it have to be when the black people come in, you know what I'm saying, they know how to sign you up this way. When the white people come in, they sign you up this way. You understand? You don't have to worry about telling them that your husband is not in your house. You understand? Or you don't have a man or a baby daddy or boyfriend. You got to worry about that. You got to tell them when you're white. You don't have to tell them that I don't know who the father of my child is. You see what I'm saying? Because they white. It's separate rules for the programs. And then when you're black, oh man, you under such scrutiny. The black woman can't get $2 food stamps. You got to tell every single thing that she ever did in life. She got to tell who she with right now. They want to know who you're having sex with now. That's even in the record. One of the sisters, Banasha, had turned around and brought that out to where she called in to one of the classes and said that these are the questions that they ask you, sisters. Is are you having sex with someone, and who is it? 1 second, sis. Okay. So then let me see. Let me skip that. Okay. Developments in the 1950s and 60s further disadvantaged black families. You gotta get that out your head that we are actually getting ahead in this society, because we not. All they doing is pushing us further and further back. You know what I mean? And it says it right here. It says this happened when states stepped up efforts to reduce ADC enrollments and costs. As I examined in my book, residency requirements were proposed so as to bar blacks migrating from the South to quality for the program. So a lot of our people was moving from the South because the South was so horrible, but in the North they had a different idea of slavery called a job. You understand? So they would put us to work and they'd turn around and say, well, hey, you're free. You got a job, you're making money. And then that's another thing. That's an illusion that black people have, especially when they get a good job. When they start making about $15, $18 an hour, $20 an hour, boy, they really think they doing something. You know what I'm saying? When you still below the poverty line, And then it says, New York City's man-in-the-house rule required welfare workers to make unannounced visits to determine if fathers were living in the home. Now, who did they do it to? Remember, it's separate rules between white women and black women. You understand? The black women, they would do that. They would pop up at your house. And what's the name of that movie that, was it James Earl Jones that played in that movie? Go ahead, give it to me. Claudine. They did it on that movie. And that was a real practice. They was actually doing that. They was walking around, the black woman turned around, and they would come in and say, okay, who's in your house? They would walk around and inspect your house just for your children to have something to eat. You understand? Like, if this system was really about helping our people, they wouldn't do all of that. They would take all of that. Why can't the man be in the home and they still get assistance? It's 4 families, right? Then this family right here consists of Tyrone, Shaquita, and all the little baby's kids. Right? So why on earth are they not trying to help all of them? When you think about it, when you look at the different programs that they have, it's always what? Women and what? Children. You understand? No man nowhere. The man can't go and check his health, to go to the clinic and make sure he's straight. Right along with his woman and his kids. He can't do that. He got to turn around and go for whatever he know. You know what I mean? So, like I said, that goes to show you that it's nothing equal. You understand? It's totally separate, and it's completely unequal here. All right? And then, if evidence of a male presence was found, cases were closed and welfare checks discontinued. Now, think about it. You already poor. You understand? That's what they was doing on that movie, Claudine. To where, here they are. This is this man, this is his woman, this is his children, and he come home and just relax. And you know what I'm saying? Kick off his boots. They had to hide the boots, didn't they? They had to hide his clothes, hide everything. They hid the iron too, didn't they? They hid the iron because guess what? Had you had the iron, you got some money. You got some money up in here. You got to iron. You ironing the wrinkles out your clothes? Oh no, we gonna cut you off. You obviously don't need this assistance that we're giving you. You know what I'm saying? The white man is the devil. All right. And we're going to prove that through all of what they're doing in these articles. And it says, always an unpopular program. Because of the strong American work ethic and preference for a handout, the means tested cash assistance programs for poor families, and especially ADC, renamed AFDC, have never been popular among Americans. As FDR himself said in his 1935 State of the Union address to Congress, the government must and shall quit this business of relief. As the quality of life did indeed improve for whites, the number of white widows and their children on the AFDC rolls declined. At the same time, the easing of racial discrimination widening eligibility to more blacks, increasing the number of never married women of color and their children who were born out of wedlock. And that's something we're going to get to as well, of what marriage is. You know what I'm saying? Because now, know that when they talk about marriage in their statistics, it's according to their culture and what marriage is. And to them, marriage is a piece of paper. You understand? But us, you understand, who are Israelites, our culture is in the Bible. And the Lord said when you have sex with a woman, that's what makes you married. And sex is marriage, and marriage is forever. And you're supposed to stay together forever. But them, they're saying it because you didn't go sign the dotted line. You didn't jump the broom. You didn't go to the justice of peace. You understand? You did not file for paperwork at the government office. What is it about, a bill 50 now? To marry a woman, to get the certificate? About a bill 50. Who got one? Who got one reason? Anybody had one reason? Anybody had one before? How much was it? You had one before? How much was it? You can't remember? Give me a range. About 100. See, that's terrible. To be with your woman, you got to pay. And why you think that's all she think about is money? You understand? Because that's what the government got in her head first, is money, money, money. All right? And then it says, one point, however, to note here is that there has always been a public misconception about race and welfare. It is true that over the years, blacks become disproportionately represented, but given that whites constitute a majority of the population, numerically, they have always been the largest users of the AFDC program. That is true. It's more people on assistance than it is black people. You understand? And they love talking about black. That's all I used to hear when I was coming up. You understand? It was the black woman and how she got stamps and, you know what I mean, how she getting assistance and she need to get a job and, you know what I mean, all that stuff. When those same white people was getting the assistance. You know what I mean? Had their hand out while they was talking about the black woman. You know, they had their hand out as well. Let me see. I'm going to skip through some of this one right here. Okay, and then this is right here. This is what Ronald Reagan said himself, the welfare queen, right? It says, Ronald Reagan's welfare queen narrative only reinforced existing white stereotypes about blacks. There's a woman in Chicago. She has 80 names, 30 addresses, 12 social security cards, and is collecting veterans benefits on 4 non-existent deceased husbands. She's got Medicaid, is getting food stamps and welfare under each of her names. Her tax-free cash income alone is over $150,000. And these are kind of jokes that the president was making about our people. You understand? This is what this is where a lot of that stuff come from. Is even the president, he jumped in on it. You understand? When he claimed to put the program to help black people, he jumped right in, you know what I'm saying, with dogging us out, making a stereotype that all we are good for is assistance, you know? And then it says, Reagan's assertions that the homeless were living on the streets by choice played to conventional wisdom about the causes of poverty, blame poor people for their own misfortune, and help disparage government programs to help the poor. Okay? So, that's how they do it. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to try harder. You need to, apply more. You need to dress better for success. They came out with that program, Dress for Success, as if black people don't know how to damn dress. We're the best dressers on the planet. But then they come out with a program, you understand, and it's always some kind of janky program to make you think that they are trying to help you. Right? So they turn around and come up with the Dress for Success, where it was giving out clothes, giving out suits and ties, and you understand, color bonds and all that nonsense to go get a damn a McDonald's job. You know what I'm saying? That's all where we ended up at. You were fully dressed, suit, tie, and all that mess to get a job at church. Ridiculous, man. All right, let me skip past this one a little bit. All right, I'm going to skip past this one. All right, it says, U.S. welfare policy is arguably as much a reflection of its economic policies as it is of the nation's troublesome history of racism. In the words of President Obama, racism is a part of America's DNA and history. Similarly, the notion that anyone who is willing to work hard can be rich is just as much a part of that DNA. Both have played an equal role in constraining adequate policy development for poor families and have been especially harmful to poor black families. All right. And here's another, this is a saying by Thomas Sowell. It said, the black family survived centuries of slavery and generations of Jim Crow, but it has disintegrated in the wake of the liberals' expansion of the welfare state. And that's crazy. You understand? When you think about what we've been through and what we survived, we have gotten worse, due to this assistance. By our sisters, by our people falling for that narrative that you need this assistance, then guess what? You can't have no man. You turn around and get this, you get this little check, get the little food stamps or the card. Now they used to be coming in a little book. I remember that book. I remember one time my mom, she asked, "You want to go to the store?" I said, "Yeah." With a big old smile, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm finna go load up." Cause I knew my mom was gonna give me a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? And turned around and she gave me that food stamp book. Man, I cried all the way to the store. I didn't know what the hell she gave me. It was new. I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm really finna go in the store with some Monopoly money and give this to this man at this counter. And he's gonna give me some chips. And man, I cried all the way to the store and back. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you weren't supposed to laugh at that part, bro. Yes, y'all, you laughed real hard when I said I cried. You understand? I'm taking the counsel about that. No, but I do it. But it's a card now, so they don't know what you're swiping. You know what I'm saying? It be Visa, you know what I'm saying? MasterCard. If you got the chip on, they got the chip on it yet? Put it in the bottle of thing. Got the chip, baby. Use your food stuff. I'm just kidding, man. If you get stamps, I ain't hating on you. I ain't knocking. Okay, this right here. This is a page out of. This comes from JSTOR, right? The online research. I like JSTOR. They got a lot of stuff on us in there. And this is public policy and the changing status of black families. And I had to redo it because it's too small. You couldn't read it. So I turned around and typed it all in. And it says public policy of the changing status of black families by Robert Staples. It says this paper reviews the past relationship of government to the structure of black family life. In general, the government's efforts to strengthen black families have been sporadic, misguided, and ineffective. It hasn't worked at all. You understand? Then it says an analysis of 1970 census data indicates that the female-headed household will continue to exist in large numbers in the black community. These families will have less income and more children than biparental families. Based on the trend in black family life indicated in the 1970 census data, a public policy for black families is suggested. This policy will include a guaranteed income, elimination of sexist discrimination in employment opportunities, community-controlled child care centers, and child development program, and other features. Right? And it says, according to Bell and Vogel in 1968, the family contributes its loyalty to the government in exchange for leadership, which will provide direct and indirect benefits for the nuclear family. Now, this is talking about black people, right? This is talking about mainly the black woman will turn around and be loyal to the government, you understand, in exchange for that little piece of change that they would give them. And it says, while there is little doubt that the black families have been loyal to the political state in America, it appears that they have derived few reciprocal benefits in return. They haven't been reciprocating, meaning bringing that right on back around. You understand? Our people have been most loyal. And General Hyman said that in that video where he cut that devil up that came up against him, saying that black people, we weren't loyal to this country for us speaking out against it, for crimes that they have committed against black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people. And here it is in this article. It's saying it in a totally different fashion, but it's saying the same thing. That we are the most loyal people to this place. And we get none in return. All right? And then it says, although the political system has the power to affect many of the conditions influencing black family life, it has failed to intervene in the service of black population and, in fact, has been more of a negative force in shaping the conditions under which black families live. Now, you know that that's true. Because they created the situations that we are in. It's not that just black people are just so horrible. When you go back and do the research, you know, like for instance, they love to call the black man a crackhead, right? But where and how did he get the drugs? Where did that even come from? You understand? It was forced on us by them. You know what I mean? And like I said, we can go on and on and on with everything that's going wrong in the black community. We could point that finger back at a devil. You understand? Back at white people for them being responsible for the demise and the destruction of the black community. All right. And then it says, as Billingsley, and these are people that turn around and did research on family. And I think Billingsley, this cat wrote a book. It said, as stated, no subsystem has been more oppressive of the Negro people or holds greater promise for their development. No other system has turned around and done us the worst than this one that we are under here in this captivity. All right. It says, historically, we find the state, local, and federal government bodies have pursued policies that have contributed to the victimization of black families. You know what I'm saying? How true is that? That's definitely true. You know, we have become victims here, you know, of their evil plots and schemes. You know, to turn around and, I mean, damn, we already was your slaves. We was working for nothing. You understand? And then you find ways to oppress us even more. Like, I mean, what more could you ask for if you are the owner of a business, right? And you got your workers and they making you millions and billions of dollars. Just think about it. You know, they had all of these years without paying a dime for labor. Just think about it. And then they complain about paying minimum wage. You know what I'm saying? They hate paying us minimum wage. That's when Donald Trump has said, make America great again. That's what he was talking about. Taking us back to those days where they ain't have to pay $1 for nothing that we do. We just turn around and just be here and be their slaves and that be that. You know what I'm saying? And we just work for nothing. That's what they actually want. All right? And then it says, the government did nothing to ensure stable marriages among the slave population or to prevent the arbitrary separation of slave national government was committed to the institution of slavery, a practice which most inimical to black family life. All right. And let me see. I think we're going to skip down to this one. Let's go here. It say, in the words of Harvard's Paul Peterson, some programs actively discourage marriage. And you know, they do that a lot in the black community. You understand? The first thing that they do when the sister call to get assistance, right, is they want to find out about that man. That's what they want to do. You understand? They want to know about that man. Are you married? You understand? Does your child have a father? Do you know who he is? Is he willing to help you with the children? Do you want to put him on child support? You understand? They do that. You understand? Like I said, I was under scrutiny board when they called just to get a book of food stamps, man. And it says, because welfare assistance went to mothers so long as no male was boarding in the household. Marriage to an employed male, even one earning the minimum wage, placed at a risk a mother's economic well-being. Infamous man in the house rules meant that welfare workers would randomly appear in homes to check and see if the mother was accurately reporting her family status. And we just covered that part right here. All right. And then it says the benefits available were extremely generous, according to Peterson. It was estimated that in 1975, a household head would have to earn $20,000 a year to have more resources than what could be obtained from Great Society programs. In today's dollars, that's over $90,000 per year in earnings. So they was basically paying our sisters to split up their families, which is terrible, man. You understand? It says that may be a reason why in 1964 only 7% of American children were born out of wedlock, compared to 49% today, as Jason Riley has noted. The government paid mothers to keep fathers out of the home and paid them well. And guess what? And they still doing that today. You know, sisters, as soon as they get with a man, get pregnant, it's like the relationship is over. They ain't even making it a whole 90 days. I don't think they're making it 30 days now. You know what I mean? They ain't making it a whole 30 days in a relationship now. You know? And then the first thing out of a lot of them mouth is they're going to run, put you on child support, get some assistance. Don't even try to see if you can even work it out. You know what I'm saying? And most times it's because, like I said, they have failed for this system. You understand? Right? And here's another quote by Dennis Prager. It says, "The welfare state corrupts family life. Even Democrats have acknowledged the destructive consequences of the welfare state on the underclass. It has rendered vast numbers of male unnecessary to females who have looked to the state to support them and their children. And the more children, the more state support rather than to husbands. In effect, these women took the state as their husband." So what they're saying is they turned around and said that they were the father. They took on the man's role. You understand? When it's impossible. It's impossible for a woman to take on a man's role. Now, you can take care of your children the best way that you can, but you ain't doing the husband role. You understand? I definitely ain't finna take on the woman's role. That ain't my role. I love my role. You understand? As a man. Then they turned around and got our sisters thinking that, you know what, I'm taking on this role right here. I'm taking on the role of as the father and the mother, and that's ridiculous. All right, and then we're gonna take a break shortly in a minute. I'm gonna get maybe 1 or 2 more articles in, and then we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll get some of that good food these sisters prepared over there. All right, this is the Institute for Family Studies, right? And this here, it says, too many American children experience the hurt from broken bonds at an early age. About 35% of American adolescents live without one of their parents, and around 40% of American children are born outside of marriage. Although these kids' parents are usually in a relationship or even cohabiting at birth, mom and dad often break up while their child is still young. Of course, it said if the biological parents of a child split up, the child in question will usually continue to reside with the mother. And although many of these children continue to have a close relationship with their father, this is the exception and not the rule, especially when it comes to children whose parents were never married in the first place. All right, and it says, in other words, the problem of broken families is interchangeable with fatherlessness. Simply put, father absence is the now widespread phenomena of children who have no close relationship with or even knowledge of their biological father. Only 9% of children were raised without their fathers in 1960. Yet today, a quarter of American kids are raised without their father. And it says the consequences are far from benign. All right, and it goes to family structure and poverty. And we're going to end up going over the effects of the children, right, and how fatherlessness affects the children. I know a lot of sisters don't care about it. They say, oh, all I need is my kids. I've heard women say that so many times. And that is extremely selfish, because what do your children need? You understand? Do they ever think about what the kids need? Do they ever think about what the man needs? And speaking of that, a brother been on Clubhouse, right? You know what I'm saying? I was on Clubhouse last night, and this sister was she just immediately started going in on her man, right? And I'm thinking she was finna really bring up something that would, make sense and substantiate why she was so mad, okay? But to come and find out, she just going, he turned around, he told me if I didn't make him nothing to eat, then I ain't love him and all. I'm like, oh my God, like you can't make your man something to eat. Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Like, why is that an argument? Baby, I'm hungry. The world should be, okay, baby, what you want? Like, why do you got to argue about what we finna eat? And then she said, well, what he don't understand is I own business and I go to work. I got a job too, And he just sit at home. He ain't got no damn job. He don't do nothing. I'm like, oh man, here we go. And then when she cleaned it up, she said the reason he don't have a job and go nowhere is because he owns property and he just go around collecting rent. He got a bunch of property. And he just collects rent. I mean, the brother, that's his business. That's his business. That's his job. You know, and because he don't have to, you know, go and punch a clock like you, she upset. And I mean, she had in everybody's mind thinking that at first that the brother did not have a job. He didn't work. You know, saying stuff like that when he has a business. You know, and I was still trying to find out, like, why was his sister so mad at her man for simply asking her to make him something to eat? Like, why would we have to argue about that? You understand? And the family structure is, like, totally destroyed. You understand, in the black community. Okay? To the point to where our women, we think the woman thinks that she is the head, she is the man, like the article said. You understand? She thinks she is the head of the household. Just because it says that when you file your taxes, don't mean that you're the head of the household. Your man is the head of that house, regardless. Even if he didn't have a job. If that house did not have a job, guess what? He's still the head of that house. And I seen and heard that one time. It's a documentary out called, I think it was Almighty Debt, to where they featured two top preachers, right? I think it was T.D. Jakes, and it was another mega preacher, right? And some of his members in his congregation had lost their job. You understand? I think this came out in like 2000 something. I can't remember what year this was, but y'all look this up. It's a pretty good documentary though. He turned around and it had one brother and his wife, right? And the brother, it was terrible to see this man start crying like that. The brother started crying, you know, like you laughed at me for walking to the store with food stamps, you know, like that. The brother started crying, man. And he said, it hurt me to see my wife get up and go to work every day. And he said, and I'm sitting at home. You know what I mean? And what tripped me out about that was that with the preacher having all of the money that they have, you know what I'm saying? Not one time did they offer like nothing to say, you know what, what kind of business were you in? Let's make one so you can have a job. You know what I'm saying? And then that sister, she did not. She still said, he's still my husband and he's still the head of our household. And I'm glad she said that. You understand? Even if it wasn't true, at least she said it on TV. You understand? It wasn't another statistic. When you look at the TV, you say, damn, look at them, they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, but she at least said that. You know what I'm saying? What is it? No, they don't. No. Yeah. God. No, they don't. Absolutely. You want to say something? You had your hand up a minute ago. Huh? You sure? All right, no sweat. No sweat. You got a little shy. All right, that's all right. It says family structure and poverty. First, family breakdown fuels poverty. On average, even high school dropouts who are married have a far lower poverty rate than do single parents with several years of college. Like, our sisters really think being single and raising your kids by yourself is what's up, but it's not. You understand? You still turn around, and even though you say you get a job or you get two, it's hard. You understand? And our oppressor makes this life hard for us to turn around and take care of the bills, then take care of the kids. A lot of the kids is raising their damn self because the man is not in the house for whatever reason. The children is left to do whatever the hell they do all day long. You understand? While the mother has to work two jobs and be school. You know what I'm saying? It's just a horrible situation. And what we need to do is we need to bring this thing back together. You know? And then it says, but family structure has the biggest impact on children, according to Raj Chetty, the preeminent researcher on the topic of social mobility. Having fathers in the neighborhood is a primary factor in predicting upward income mobility for children in that neighborhood later in life, even when controlling for other variables such as the available schools, race, and ethnicity. Okay, Raj Chetty, this cat, he's a East Indian, and he turned around and he like he's called preeminent. He the man in this, right? He been studying this in India, his country, and in America, right? And he turned around and got to the root of a lot of the children's problems. You understand? And it starts with fatherlessness. You understand? It's so many different things that happens. You understand? Like for instance, a lot of children commit suicide. They turn around and get on drugs. They become whores. They turn to crime. All types of things. And the number one thing when they go and do these studies on our children, the first thing out their mouth is, "I never had a father. I don't know who my father is." You know what I mean? And that's terrible. You know, it's terrible that these little brothers and sisters don't have a father. You know, mother had sex. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have a damn father to turn around and raise them up right. All right? And then this part here goes into the family breakdown, being in class and being married and stuff like that. So if you got a baby daddy, guess what? That's your husband. Right? If you got a boo or a baby, y'all having sex, guess what? That's your husband. Okay? If you got a what else they call them? Sisters, what they call guys when y'all be sleeping with them? What they call them? I ain't saying y'all personally, but just saying when they be out there in the world, what they call them? Oh, now y'all don't know, huh? Now that we ain't talking about. We ain't talking about you getting paid for no sugar, okay? That we ain't talking about, okay? Who getting paid for some sugar? You understand? God damn. Well, guess what? If you are getting paid by your sugar daddy, you better stay with his ass for the rest of your life. Look, she about to fall out of the chair. Good night. You brothers some sugar daddies here? How much y'all coming out for? Y'all went beyond that $40 cash app, huh? I heard that. Damn. You 80 in the cash app now, huh? 100 in the cash app. Also, he got 100 in the cash app. Woo-wee. Look, Tazan put in two. We got 200. Damn, Tazan got 200 in the cash app. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's see. It's going over the marriage. As marriage rates fractured among America's poor and working class, the institution has remained resilient among America's better off, who still marry at rates similar to those 50 years ago. And the collapse of marriage among the working class has coincided with a sharp increase in out-of-wedlock births, often to cohabiting parents, because people see marriage as ideal but unattainable, yet still desire children. And that's the thing. A lot of women, what they say, they get a baby fever. You understand? What they in their feelings. You understand? See a little cute little bit with their biological clock is ticking. What else they say? They say something, right, to let you know that they want a baby, right? And the baby comes from having sex with a man, right? And that's what a lot of people are saying now about marriage, because the white man has distorted every single thing on the planet. It make you not want to do a damn thing. You understand? But when it comes to our people staying together, you know, our sisters and even our brothers too think that you're just going to turn around and have a lot of sex, and then one day you're going to magically be with somebody for the rest of your life. Well, that's crazy. You understand? Who's going to want you after you've been with 40 and 50 people? You understand? Like, who wants that? You know? So, like I said, it's crazy. But the article is saying the same exact thing. What our people are doing, the article is just said it. All right, it says welfare may have played a role. It is important to realize that things weren't always so. The black American family provides a stark example. From 1890 to 1950, black women had a higher marriage rate than white women. And in 1950, just 9% of children lived without their father. And by 1960, the black marriage rate had declined but remained close to the white marriage rate. In other words, despite open racism and widespread poverty, strong black families used to be the norm. You understand? Where families stayed together. Now it's the norm for just the mother and the children to be together, and the man be nowhere to be found. That's the norm now. And it says, but by the mid 1980s, black fatherlessness skyrocketed. And what happened in the 80s also? What else happened in the 80s? Damn right, crack. You understand? The crack epidemic went through the roof. You understand? Drugs. It started with the and what was the hippie movement? When was that? Cabal? Was that 60 something? Woodstock. Go ahead, give it to me. It was 69. Okay, right. Yeah, that's when the hippies and all the white people was convincing all the black people to just get high and smoke weed, as if it was a cool damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And that started first, and then after that, like I said, we keep following these people, man. And as we follow them, we keep going further and further down the tube. Coming up, you understand? They are coming up doing good as families. But us, look at our numbers, steady going. Well, of course, it says skyrocket going up, meaning that it's getting worse. You understand? But we steady going down and further down. Matter of fact, we as low as we could possibly be. I can't even see us getting no lower than this. You understand? Who can get lower than this right here? If we could, goddamn. You understand? This is terrible. All right? And it says today only 44% of black children have a father in the home. In unison, the rate of black out of wedlock births went from 24.5% in 1964 to 70.7% by 1994. Now look at that, man. Look at that. From 64 to 94. Look at that percentage rate. Look at that increase. It ain't like it was no long whole 50 or 60, 100 damn years. You understand? That was quick. That was short. That was no time. Right? And it said roughly where it stands today. It's almost the same thing today. All right, let me see. Get one more. All right. Okay, now this quote is Walter Williams. He said, whether we want to own up to it or not, the welfare state has done what Jim Crow, gross discrimination, and poverty could not have done. It has contributed to the breakdown of the black family structure and has helped establish a set of values alien to traditional values of high moral standards, hard work, and achievement. And guess what? These standards that this government program has put in place for us, guess what? Goes against the morals in the Bible. Completely. You understand? Assistance was truly to assist the family, then they would just do just that. Assist the family. The entire family. Not just some of the family. The man, the woman, and the children. Because we need each other whether we believe it or not. You understand? Look at what's going on now. More and more sisters. It's been a bunch of sisters in the last 2 years that their brains blowed out here. You understand? It was just around the corner. It was a cat that turned around and was following a sister. He turned around, followed her. The sister made a report, called the police. Right here on, I think it was Martin Luther King and Union. Right? He said, this car been following me. And she turned around and the car ended up taking off, going another way. She didn't stay too far, maybe about 4 blocks away from Union and Martin Luther King, right down the street. Turned around and made another call and said, the car is in my alley, right? And then when the police got there, they found the woman dead. You understand? And now, you don't think you need a man to protect you? You understand? You could have called your husband, right? And your husband could have been waiting at the house, or he could have been wherever he was at. He could have came to the house, and that thing could have possibly been prevented. You understand? But our sisters believe in this singleness so bad, all just to get an education and a career, when you're not going to work nowhere but at church's chicken. That's where your biggest career is going to be at. You understand? And that's even statistically proven that the most money that the black woman is going to make is $13 an hour. Now, where are you going to work? When the article said we work menial jobs, meaning the jobs that wasn't worth nothing. You understand? All the hard work, though. You understand? All the damn hard work, but ain't getting paid nothing. Okay? So our sisters got to get that out their mind that you don't need no man. I mean, if that's your choice, you understand? But of course, they ain't just not having sex. You understand? All of them got somebody beating that thing up. You understand? So you ain't as single as you claim. Because single means that you have absolutely nobody in your life or in your bed. You understand? At all. You ain't DMing nobody. You ain't texting nobody. You ain't sexting nobody. They do that too, right? Sexting, where they sending naked pictures. You understand? Which is ridiculous. Okay? But like I said, man, our sisters and our brothers, we got to get it together. And right now, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back to it. All right? All right. Sodas, waters, in the refrigerator. She better quit doing all that talking like she doing the lecture. Get her. Play something again? You hear it, take it. That's a lot. Make it go.
Yeah, I was there. Yes, sir. Awesome day, man.
Yeah, right, brother. Glad you came out.
Right. See you later, man.
All right, call me, you need me, brother. Bye. Hey, you did that to yourself. You never supposed to turn on your instructor, boy. Yes, you did. Then he looked straight at you. Yep, he looked straight at you. Hey, you gonna pay for that one, brother. I ain't even did that. I don't even like how you did that. You better pay for that one.
Oh man, you ain't gotta want them coats, all right? Set me up, man. Didn't that pick that place too?
No,
not, man.
you got it.
Hey, still ain't let me listen.
What? Hey, all the vibration of that knee ain't gonna.
Oh yeah, I told you.
Uh-huh.
I said, is it helping any? You gonna be ready with tomorrow? He said, it's like it, so I'm trying to get ready. He said, I think I got fluid. All right, we're gonna see. Blood in your brother. No. That's what I'm saying. Elijah did it right there. Elijah did it right there. He over there, he turned around and said, no, that was this nigga right here.
Hey, we can see who your real belongs to walk down the street. Probably up to 9 in front of them. Like that. Turn around. Hey, yeah, that's me. Sister Will, whatever. That's mine right there. You see it. You see that dress. Good. All right, I'm going to hit the lights.
All right. We're going to go ahead and continue. All right. We'll keep showing our people how government turn around and use their assistance, their programs to oppress and to destroy black families. You understand? And let me say something. If you need the assistance, get it. Right? I understand. But don't destroy your family for it. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying about that, I saw a sister on Facebook made this post, made a little video, right? She showing all of her kitchen, the refrigerator, she showing deep freezer, she pantry, she showing the cabinet. Hell, she even put food up under the sink where I thought only, like dishwashing liquid and extra towels and trash, but clean lines go. But she had food all down there. And you know what she said on the caption? It said, refrigerator full, freezer full, this full, cabinet full. It ain't no nigga did it. I said, oh my God. She was boasting on the amount of food stamps that she just got, And that was terrible, man, for her to even hear her say that. It's like, why you gotta shit on your man because you wouldn't apply for food stamps? You understand? You talking about him not filling up the refrigerator. You didn't either. I did. I did my tax dollars. You understand? So I say your man gets some of that food. Got that? You understand? But that's the type of mentality that our people is taking on, you understand, by following, our oppressor and their ideas. Like I said, if you need assistance, go ahead and get it. You understand? I don't care which one it is. Food stamps, Section 8 might help you out, and saying in some areas or some instances. But just don't destroy your family behind it. Don't shit on your man because you got some Section 8, or because you got a food stamp, because guess what? It's something that man could do that them stamps can't, right? Like protect your ass. You know what I'm saying? You turn around, if somebody was to try to rape you, you can't pull out your food stamp card and say don't do it. You understand? But in the mind of a rapist, guess what? If he knows that a man just popping up periodically, he'll leave you alone. He'll leave you alone. He won't even bother you because he know that a man just might show up if I try to bother this woman, right? So if somebody come to rob you, you understand? You can't say, hey, here's my Section 8 voucher. Please don't do it. You understand? You're getting robbed, okay? But guess what? If you got a man, your man can turn around and protect you. Your children. Our children get molested more than anybody on earth, right? And you can't tell them that you getting assistance by the government and they won't molest your kids. But if you stay with their father, you understand, you keep their father in their life, then your children are less likely to be molested. You understand? So like I said, we need to start bringing these families back together. All right, and this is Statista, right? Statista.com. This is an article here. It says the number of black single mothers in the U.S. from 1990 to 2019. And this was published January 2021. And it says, this is crazy. All right. It shows how it's steady going up. It says in 2019, there were about 4.15 million black families in the States with a single mother. That is terrible, man. That is terrible. 4.15 million black families, man, without a father. Without a father. And it says this is an increase from 1990s level when there were about 3.4 million black families with a single mother. So we done went up a million, over a million. You understand? From the 90s to the 2000s. That's crazy. That ain't even a whole, it's just 2 years. You understand? That's still 20 years. From 1990, is it 90? Yeah, 1990 to 2019. So in 20 years, man, a million families are broken. That is crazy. And then what's so sad is nobody even cares about the ISUPK. We the only somebody out there that's interested in pulling the families back together. You understand? When I heard Commander Junior Hunter say these type of words, I was like, God damn, this man really cares about his people. He said when Barack Obama got elected, he said we don't need a black man in the White House. He said we need a black man in every black house. You understand? And by God, that was the truth. You understand? That was the truth, man. The black house needs a damn black man, not the White House. Who cares what the White House doing? Yeah, what they doing in the White House before he got in there? Getting fellatio in the Oval Office? You understand? Turn around and what they do with the they got busted making those companies, them contracts from foreigners, where they was sending contractors to work out of town, and they had checks going to their cousins, you know what I'm saying, their uncles and their aunties. Like, come on, man, that's what they doing in the White House. And why you worried about that? Well, meanwhile, look at all of the destruction, you understand, and the damn mayhem in the black house that you ain't worried about. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. It says children from fatherless homes are more likely to be poor, become involved in drug and alcohol abuse, drop out of school, and suffer from health and emotional problems. Boys are more likely to become involved in crime, and girls are more likely to become pregnant as teens. All right, and this part here, this is the consequences of a fatherless home. All right, and consequence number one is poverty. All right, poverty. It says children in fatherless homes are almost 4 times more likely to be poor. In 2011, 12% of children in married couple families were living in poverty, compared to 44% of children in mother-only families. All right. It says children living in female-headed families with no spouse present had a poverty rate of 47.6%, over 4 times the rate in married couple families. Right? And it's real simple. If our people just stay together, you married. You have sex, you just stay together, and you're married. But we want the white man to say, we want his validation of us being married. So we turn around, and this is proven also that once our people go and get that certificate, right? What's that song that my boys made? Meet me at the altar in your white dress. We ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it. You understand? Soon as guess what you doing? What you doing after that? They going to file for divorce. And this is crazy. I don't understand that. You done been, what they say in the world, you been shacked up, booed up, begged. You know, that song was hot, right? That song was hot. Was it last year when that song came out? Booed up when the COVID-19, they niggas was booed up during COVID-19. You understand? They was booed the hell up. Okay, getting all them stimulus checks. Loan me $20. Somebody, y'all still got some check money. Somebody got some check money. Give me $20. You understand? But for real, if you have a man you having sex with, that's your husband. You're married. You understand? That's your wife. You're married. And our people need to know and understand that. So when it comes to them and their statistics, they're saying married by that piece of paper. And don't forget that. All right? And it says between 2019 and 2020, poverty rates increased for married couple families and families with a female householder. The poverty rate for married couple families increased from 4.0% to 2019 to just 4.7% in 2020. So that's still a huge increase, right? And this right here represents the poverty level by family structure. We didn't totally go over it on the last chart, but they go by class, right? And that class is whether you're married or unmarried, okay? And here it is, and you see the poverty amongst married couples throughout the years, starting at 2001 on the chart. Look at how low it is. You understand? Look how low those numbers are for those people that's still together, raising their children. Versus the blue, look at how high that is, man. You understand? Look at how high that is. All right? And let's keep going. Consequence number 2, drugs and alcoholism. I turned around and shared a story with some, Clubhouse again, right? I was on Clubhouse, okay? And turned around and I gave them a story about a young girl that was about, I think, 13, 12, I think, I can't remember how old she was, But she was, on drugs completely. You know what I'm saying? Doing all manner of evil, man, all kinds of things, you know. And you know what one of the brothers had said for her to do was to use her willpower. I'm like, nigga, she's a child. What kind of willpower she got? She was never supposed to be on drugs. You understand? She's supposed to be protected, not use willpower. You know, she's a child. She don't have any. She's 13 or 12, whatever old she was. You understand? Smoking more blunts than a grown-ass man. You know? Terrible. But that's how you know that those people in those other groups and it's out there in the world, they don't have the answer. You understand? But Commander Jimmy Hunter does. And then says here that the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services states are at a dramatically greater risk of drug and alcohol abuse, right? This is talking about the kids that come from fatherless homes. All right? There is significantly more drug use among children who do not live with their mother and father. Right? That's what your kids need. You know how the woman always saying what she need is just her kids, but your kids need you both. Okay? And so getting that through your head. All right? And then let's go to consequence number 3, physical and emotional health. Right? It says children of single-parent homes are more than twice as likely to commit suicide. Now, you know that ain't our things, black people. We ain't killing. Conditions could be at all hell, but we ain't killing ourselves. But it does happen. You understand? It does happen. It was just a sister here, I believe, or was it a little brother that committed suicide because of the COVID? Who remember? I think it was a young sister that killed herself here recently in St. Louis for the COVID. I had to look that back up. There was another sister that killed herself in it was California when the COVID hit and the restrictions. She couldn't take not being around her friends, and you know what I'm saying. And she turned around and she killed herself. You know, so it does happen. You know, our people, they do it too. You know, a study of 1,977 children aged 3 and older living with a residential father or father figure found that children living with married biological parents had significantly fewer externalizing and internalizing behavioral problems than children living with at least one biological parent. So here it is, it's showing you that they don't have as many mental issues, you understand, when they have both of their parents in their life versus just having that one biological parent, which is always the mother. You understand? It immediately take and give the children to the mother. When back in the Bible, the children belong to the father. You understand? They belong to both of you, but they wasn't splitting up the families because they knew that the man was the head of his family. All right, let's keep going. It says data from 3 waves of the fragile family study, N equals 2 and 111, was used to examine the prevalence and effects of mothers' relationships changes between birth and age 3 on their children's well-being. Children born to single mothers show higher levels of aggressive behavior than children born to married mothers. Living in a single mother household is equivalent to experiencing 5.25 partnership transitions. So the kids got to sit and watch you change up men and go through that stuff right along with you. You understand? 5.25 partnership transitions. That's ridiculous. And guess what? The number is, they're being generous right there, saying 5.25. The black woman been about 25, 35, 45.5. You understand? Like, I mean, man, she just turned around and switches up men like she switches up her drawers. It's crazy. Consequence number 4 is education. All right? Children in grades 7 through 12 who have lived with at least one biological parent, youth that experience divorce, separation, or non-union birth reported lower grade point averages than those who have always lived with both biological parents. Children living with their married biological father tested at a significantly higher level than those living with a non-biological father. That's talking about your stepdaddy. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's normally no kind of communication, no ties, no. I mean, you're not his kids. You understand? He can't say nothing to him. You know, he shouldn't be trying to discipline him and beat on him and all of that. Give him guidance and look after him, stuff like that. That's fine. But not try to treat him like they're your absolute own and say, okay, go give me that belt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to do all of that. You know, but in those cases, there's like no, like I said, there's no attachment. There's no nothing going on. You understand? All right. And it says 71% of high school dropouts are fatherless. Fatherless children have more trouble academically, scoring poorly on tests of reading, mathematics, and thinking skills. Children from father-absent homes are more likely to be truant from school, meaning they ain't gonna go. Right? More likely to be excluded from school, more likely to leave school at age 16, and less likely to attain academic and professional qualifications in adulthood. And guess what? That turned around, and when you have that type of attitude, you don't have any type of skill. In this place here, the white man requires you to have a certification, right? A certain certificate saying that you know how to drive this, you know how to, do this. You know what I'm saying? You have to go show that to be a chef. You have to go, and you can't just say I know how to cook good. You know what I'm saying? And you very well, I'm sure you do. You understand? But that ain't gonna work when you go apply for his. Now you can go to Jack in the Box. You understand? You go to Jack in the Box, don't know how to flip a burger at all, and they'll teach you. But we talking about a good job where you go in there and fillet something. You understand? Saute something, right? You gonna turn around and they ain't gonna hire you because you don't have any skills, even with just cooking. To where you would think that all you would have to do is just know how to cook. But in this place, he wants you to have a certificate saying that you know what you're doing. To be a nurse, you can't just say, well, look, I raised all 4 of my kids, and when they were sick, I did this for them, and they got well. You got to go. You went, what school? What school did you go to? What certificate do you have? What degree? You understand? Associates, bachelors, masters, which one you got? You understand? You got to prove yourself in this place here. And when you turn around and don't go to school, you drop out, what kind of job can you get other than McDonald's? What kind of job can you get other than Walmart? It's cool to start there, but damn, you wouldn't think that that's where you want to be all your life, All right. And then consequence number 5 is crime. That's something we know all too well in the hood. It's crime, Adolescents living in intact families are less likely to engage in delinquency than their peers living in non-intact families. Compared to peers in intact families, adolescents in single-parent families and step-families were more likely to engage in delinquency. This relationship appeared to be operating through differences in family processes, parental involvement, supervision, monitoring, and parent-child closeness between intact and non-intact families. And that's why I was saying, when you stepdad, you know what I mean? You don't really feel like a whole attachment to them kids because they're not yours. You might love them, you might treat them good. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't mistreat the kids. You understand? But just saying, this. Now remember, this stuff, they've been researching this but way more than you've been thinking about it. You understand? And they know that right here, that parental involvement, they know that stepfather is really not involved. You understand? He ain't involved because he's a stepdad, And then don't turn around and the mother come up against you. You talking about them my kids, leave my kids alone. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a whole problem, with these stepkids. Yeah. So that's what that part is talking about there. All right. Let's see. Let me see. All right. I'm going to skip through this because we're getting close to the time. We're going to wrap this up. The delinquency, okay. Consequence number 6, sexual activity and teen pregnancy. A study using a sample of 1,409 rural southern adolescents, 851 females, and 558 males aged 11 through 18 years old, investigated the correlation between father absence and self-reported sexual activity. The results revealed that adolescents in father-absent homes were more likely to report being sexually active compared to adolescents living with their fathers. That's terrible to hear an 11-year-old having sex. That's terrible. You understand? Whether it's another name to no child molestation, just an 11-year-old having sex with another 11-year-old. Just to even hear that, that's terrible. You ain't supposed to be even thinking about no damn sex at no age 11. But when there's no father present, no one to turn around and steer your little brain right. You know what I'm saying? Then guess what? Anything goes, man. Anything happens. And that's crazy for this to even be in a report to where an 11-year-old is reporting sexual activity. You know? And you know, now to speak about it, you know it's mostly because of them being molested in our communities. Yeah. And it says, being raised by a single mother raises the risk of teen pregnancy. Marrying with less than a high school degree and forming a marriage where both parents have less than a high school degree. So you're going to turn around and you're going to end up like your mother. Your mother ain't getting married. You understand? Now remember, according to Esau, going to the white man, you didn't get that certificate, so your mama ain't married and just had a baby daddy and all these hundred of boyfriends after that. Then now your daughter, your child ain't going to do the same thing and ain't going to have no man either. You know. Oh, Salaki, 1 second. You ain't tell me I had my screen, huh? I had it in the wrong mode. I'm showing y'all all my secrets. 1 second, let me get to it. Hold on. All right. Okay, here's another quote by David Boaz. It says, the stark truth is that as long as the welfare state makes it possible for young women or teenage girls to have children without a husband and survive without a job, out of wedlock births will remain ruinously high, and the inner city will continue to be marked by crime, poverty, and despair. That's crazy. You understand? When you think about that, that is crazy. And like the article has been saying, and like what the ISBK has been saying for the longest, is this stuff is alarming, man. When you actually do the research, now you just walk outside the house, go to where you going, go to the store. You don't really pay no attention because you see people. You understand? You see folks together. You might see a man with his kids. But when it goes to that number, 4.11 million single homes, that's crazy. That's crazy. Till I did this research, I didn't know it was that damn high myself. All right. All right. So then, here's a question that I was asked about: will fatherless homes ever be fixed? Black people see like this as like no hope for us. You understand? It ain't no hope for the father to ever be in the house. It's just going to be me and my kids. That's all we got. You know what I mean? We ain't going to never get it together. We see it as this is it, right? The answer is yes. Okay? And what's the solution? Who knows what the solution is? The solution lies in the Bible. You understand? And then I'm going to turn around. I was going to drop a bunch of scriptures, but I'm going to ask y'all real quick. I'm going to see how much y'all know. I'm going to see what is the solution. Uh-oh, sis looked up at me. She like, uh-oh, we finna take a test. Oh, man. She like, Cap finna give me a quiz. So I'm going to turn around and see what does the people here know? Right? As for Tazan, I ain't even asked the question yet. He finna answer. Give it to me. Go ahead. Damn right, give it ahead. That is the answer. That's the answer. Damn right. That's the vaccine, man. The ISUPK. Sure enough. So he knew that answer. You understand? He knew that that's the answer to all the questions. You understand? No, but as far as in the article where it kept saying married women, single women, married women, who knows what the scripture is where it talks about specifically a man and a woman and what makes them married in the Bible? Who knows? Give it to me. Read it. Give it to me. Because look, this was another thing on Clubhouse. Y'all know I was on Clubhouse again. We was on Clubhouse. Hit the light, bro. We done with the slide. I was on Clubhouse again, and it had an African trying to break down our culture and trying to tell us how we was getting married and this and that. I didn't know what he was talking about. You know what I mean? So, of course, you know, when I came on there and started speaking, he got mad and got in his little dirty, stinking African feelings. You understand? And the room got real smelly at that point. You understand? But, nevertheless, of course, being taught and raised by Commander General Hanna, we dropped all the precepts on him. You understand? Cut him to shreds with his theory, you know, and left him standing there stinking. You understand? Literally. But go ahead, give me the scripture.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid.
If a man entice a maid, what does it mean to entice a maid? He seduces her. He mac on her. He run game on her. You understand? What did Biggie Small say? I creep up on behind with your name, with your sign. You know, sisters, they like that. Yeah, they like all that, right? They like game. They be trying to act bougetto, is that what y'all call it? You understand? They be trying to act like, but they like game. You understand? And you brothers better come with some, okay? Just because you're in the truth, don't lose the game, okay? Don't lose the flavor, okay? Go ahead.
And lie with her.
And lie with her. What does it mean? Not saying that you said something, she said something, and y'all told a different story. You lied, meaning that y'all had sex. Okay, keep going.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Right there. When y'all Netflix and chill, ain't that what y'all be doing? Y'all can say it. All right, we grown. When y'all what's the other channel? Hulu. When y'all Hulu and chill, y'all got that channel? Judge Mathis and chill. That's my show right there, Judge Mathis. That's my show, Judge Mathis and chill. You got me. Shit, I guess you married to me. You got the Judge Mathis, turn that on. Yeah, goddamn. So the scripture said, y'all said that you have made that woman your wife when y'all had sex. All right, give me another. What the Bible say about divorce? Who knows? What the Bible say about divorce? Go. Yeah, find the scripture, bro. We're going to give them the scripture about it. So basically, you saying you can divorce or you can't? Which one is it? You cannot divorce according to the Bible, right? That's what the Bible says. Once you have sex with that woman, you can't let her go. You understand? Go ahead. Read it.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 31. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. Verse 32.
As a matter of fact, hold on real quick. They do divorce parties now. Yeah, you ever seen them? I see so many of them on Facebook. I said, God damn, what is they celebrating? Why the hell are you so happy to be breaking up? They had a divorce party. They had a sister, I remember the last one, had a big old gigantic cake and said the great divorce on it. I was like, God damn, that's terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? The great divorce, straight up. They was kicking it at the thing too. It was a whole party. It was the same as the damn wedding, as the wedding reception. You know, and she had a divorce reception. Go ahead, Doc.
Verse 32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committed adultery.
Right. So Christ said that the only reason that you can put a woman away is if she cheat on you. If she hold on you, man, good riddance. Kick rocks, skedaddle, burn out, peace, whatever. Get the, get the, you know what I'm saying? Hey, something like that. Y'all know how y'all do it. What'd you say? Beat your feet? Yeah. Beat your feet. That means hold up and get the hell on out of here. You ain't got to go home, but get the hell out of here. You know what that song say. You understand? That's terrible. All right. Now, as far as marriage, how long are you supposed to be together? Until death. Give me that in the scripture. Now, because you know it's a big thing out there where they say that if I ain't happy, it's over. You know, a lot of people turn around and as soon as they get what they call unhappy, they gone. And the first thing that a woman feels compelled to do with that little sneaky vajayjay of hers is give it to somebody else. You understand? Like, why do they do that? You understand? You turn around and go straight to somebody else and get in somebody else's damn bed. And then after that, you go and get somebody else's bed. You know, that's crazy. They turned around and had a sister. I showed that video where that sister was on Steve Harvey talking about she got 3 dudes. You know what I'm saying? And what the saddest part about that was how Steve Harvey was excluding the men. Talking about how the men, oh, this one ain't no good. This one, he sell drugs. He going to go to jail. This one, he don't want you. This one, but they didn't exclude her for being a whore. He didn't tell her, you are absolutely no good for no damn body. But he said to her, I think you're a good woman. What the hell, what good woman you know is sleeping with 3 different men? It was probably more than that. She probably just only wanted to admit to those 3 because she was on TV. You understand? Because you see what she said. She said, well, I did feel a little sense of guilt. Girl, please. No, you didn't. You understand? Because if you just felt, right, that little bit don't even, that's like a drop out of bucket. You know what I'm saying? That little bit didn't do nothing. You know? So how long are we supposed to be together when you get married? Until death. What's the scripture on that? Romans 7. You can start at 1, verse 2, verse 3. Give it to me.
Romans chapter 7, verse 2. For the woman which hath an husband.
The woman that has a husband. How does a woman have a husband? Sex. She has sex with they Netflix, they Hulu, they George Mathis, they paternity court and chill, right? Keep going.
God is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth.
As long as you live. You understand? You're not supposed to be leaving each other. See, if we turn around and follow this versus us following the white man and what he has set up for us to do, which is to fail. You understand? Because soon as you go get that marriage certificate, you can come back and get a divorce decree if that's what you feel like. If you unhappy, if he lost his job, if he just don't communicate with you, if he got another woman, or whatever the case may be, you can go and apply for a divorce. But the Lord said, what? Read that again, huh?
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law of her husband, so long as he liveth.
You got to stay together as long as that man live. And guess what? If that's the guy that you chose, so be it. That's your choice. You understand? If that's the woman that you chose, so be it. That's your choice. Learn to pick better if you don't like what you picked. If you can't deal with it. But guess what? But you got to stay with that one. Right? And guess what? The Lord don't care about your feelings. And you know something? Now, you know, I was on Clubhouse again, right? I'm keeping on Clubhouse, right? They had a room going. and they was talking about divorcing. And the sisters in the group, that's the first thing that they was bringing up was the men being violent. You understand? Also, I'm just supposed to stay with somebody that's beating on me. There ain't nobody beating on you. Stop it. You understand? And it's actually statistically proven that women are more domestically violent to men than the other way around. So first thing they do is get up in your face and slap you upside your door. That's even in the Bible. You understand? When they ask the question, what's wrong with the man, the king, the woman, or some drink? And guess what? It was the woman. The strongest out of all of them. They turned around and slapped the hell out the king. No man even test the king like that. No man would even do that. But this little bitty old woman turned around and walked up on the king and slapped the hell out of him. You understand? And that, go ahead. And, yeah, that too. You understand? That too. You know? So, like I said, but if we turn around and follow this, we wouldn't have so many problems in the black community. You understand? We could turn around and stop all of the arguing and the back and forth of the fighting that we got going on in the black community if we return to these morals and not to our oppressors, because those are not morals. You understand? You think in your mind because he said you could divorce because you are unhappy that that's immoral. No. You being happy is not a damn moral. You understand? That's not in the Bible. That you can do what God said do because whether you happy or not. You understand? That ain't in there. The Lord said you having sex, then you supposed to stay together for as what?
By the law of her husband, so long as he liveth.
As long as he liveth. Right? So if the man turn around, let me go. I'm about to jump a little bit.
But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband.
So if a man dies, you know, what we like to say, of natural causes, right? In his sleep, everybody want to die in their sleep just peacefully. I just want to die. I don't want to turn around and be choking and, you know what I'm saying, having a heart attack or stroke or running and dodging bullets. You understand? I just want to die in my sleep, you know. So you turn around and he's dead, she's loose from the law. And don't try to kill him either, because we're going to find out. All right? I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to say, look, I think she killed him. You know, I'm just kidding. I ain't say that. You know what I'm saying? I know ain't no sister in here going to do that. But I'm just saying, you know, if you turn around, and because you know you got a TV show out like that, right? What's it called? Snapped, For My Man and all that. What's the other one they got? What's the other show? Fatal Attraction, all them shows, boy, them sisters went trip. You know what I'm saying? Good night. I would not want to be with some of them. Oh man, it was what I say. I think it was Fatal Attraction, something like that. It was the devil though. This dude, he thought his wife was poison. This was crazy as hell to me. He thought his wife was poisoning his food, right? He would eat, and he said it had a taste. It was just something that wasn't right about the food. And this dude kept eating it and left a note. His dumb ass died, right? Because he eventually died from the poison, but left a note in his locker at work saying, I believe my wife is poisoning me. My food tastes funny. My coffee tastes funny. You know what I'm saying? My oatmeal tastes funny. Oh, why the hell is you eating it? Knowing that it tastes funny. You understand? And this dude, he ate himself to his own death. They really should let her go free. His dumb ass knew it and was eating it. You understand? But, you got your answer? Yeah, okay. I was saying, you ain't put no antifreeze in nobody's food before, did you? Yeah, I know you changed your life now. I know you used to, ain't nothing you used to do now. Oh, she used to do that? Come on with it,
God, verse 3. So that if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man.
So if you turn around and while your man is still alive and you got a new boo, you got a new baby daddy, you got a new husband, right? Keep reading.
She shall be called an adulteress.
She shall be called a thought. You understand? She's a thought. Keep going.
But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law.
She is free from that law if that man is dead. All right. So like I said, and then we're going to drop more in our classes, man. You understand? The water for everybody for coming out. The water for the sisters that cook that good food. You understand? The water for all of my brothers that came down this weekend and my sisters that came from out of town. Kansas City in the building. Iowa in the building. You understand? And St. Louis definitely in the building. You feel me? And with that, we're going to go ahead and end it. And I'm finna eat now. You understand? So I need me a plate. Right.